Welcome back to the channel. I'm standing next to the 2022 Grand Wagoneer Series 1. This also has 4x4. If you guys are in the market for a Grand Wagoneer, be sure to check out Spitzer, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, and ask for Phil or Geo, and they will get you into your next vehicle. But let's talk about pricing here for the Grand Wagoneer Series 1 with 4x4. Starting price is at $87,995. This one stickers for $98,427. Looking at the exterior styling here for the Grand Wagoneer Series 1, like I mentioned, this does have 4x4, and this is painted in this black exterior paint. It looks good with the aluminum trim here throughout this vehicle. Looking at these headlights here, they're going to be an LED projector headlight with an automatic low and high beam, sequential turn signal, and daytime running light. There is some carbon fiber trim here in the actual headlight housing. Looking down here at the lower part of the bumper, there's also full LED fog lights here with front parking sensors, more aluminum trim here throughout the front fascia. And here's for your driver's assistance panel. And it does have Wagoneer spelled out here in the actual grille. And as you guys can see, stepping away from the vehicle, it does have the corporate 7-slot grille with this front-facing camera with this washer on the end of it. So Jeep throws basically everything at the Grand Wagoneer. This does compete against the Cadillac Escalade short wheelbase version, also the Lincoln Navigator, the BMW X7, the Mercedes-Benz GLS. So this segment is very hot here in this luxury segment. Looking at the side profile here, this has a 123-inch wheelbase with an overall length of 214.7. So it's one of the largest vehicles in this segment. And keep in mind, Jeep will happily sell you an L version for 2023, making this vehicle even more bigger than it already is. Looking at these tires and wheels here, me personally, since this is the Series 1, I'm not a big fan here of the multi-spoke rim designs. These are a 275/55 tire. They're wrapped in this 20-inch rim design, and my model also has air suspension. So right now I have it at its second setting here, so you can enter the vehicle the way you would like. So it kind of has like a traditional step-in height, like a normal SUV. And the body panels here are black painted, which is really nice, so there's no cheap looking cladding here. There's more aluminum trim underneath the LED side marker here, and it says Grand Wagoneer at the lower part of the door panel with the American flag to show American pride. I actually like that really a lot. More aluminum trim around the window trims, and above there's this large glass panoramic sunroof, and the third row passenger also gets a sunroof as well. Some other competitors don't offer that. The BMW X7 was the first to offer a sunroof for the third row passengers. As you guys can see here, our model also has running boards here, so you can get into this large SUV here. But making our way to the rear of the Grand Wagoneer, looking at these taillights here, they also have this sequential finish to the turn signal, which is a full LED design. I like the clear lens here that Jeep offers on the Grand Wagoneer. Spelled very boldly at the back, it says Grand Wagoneer. I like the nice font here. There's this rear wiper here, more aluminum trim throughout this vehicle. That's a backup camera integrated here into the tailgate. Over here, this has the Series 1 badge, and this also has the Spitzer badge there. Looking down here, there's rear parking sensors, and there's the reverse lights here at the lower part of the bumper. This also has dual tip exhaust, but Jeep kind of hides it underneath the rear bumper. And this is how you guys can tow with this vehicle once you remove this plastic piece here. Open up the cargo back here, just press this area right here. And I like that tailgate opens very quick. Once it opens up, it reveals 27.4 cubic feet of space. Keep in mind, like I mentioned, you guys can go for the L version, which will have more cargo space if you truly need it. And keep in mind, it will also make the vehicle have a longer overall length. There's a 12-volt back here. Also your functions for the second and third row. Once you fold down all the seats, Jeep says that expands the cargo to 97.5 cubic feet of space. It's not the largest in the segment. Keep in mind, if you guys want to have a little bit more space, you have to look at the Cadillac Escalade, which has one of the largest cargo capacities in the segment. Looking at this beautiful, well laid out interior here of the Grand Wagoneer, you also have this passenger screen here, which is a 10.25-inch display with this 12-inch infotainment system here with this 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster there. I like the way the screens are laid out, and you also have your own 10.25-inch display down here for the massaging functions and whatnot. We'll talk about that once I turn the vehicle on. But to start up the vehicle, you guys know, put your foot on the brake and press the start-stop button right here. You guys will hear that 6.4-liter V8 come to life. As you guys see, all the screens will come on, but for safety hazards, Jeep does not allow you to see the passenger screen, but I will hop over there in a few moments. But let's talk about the materials here on the actual door panel. It's gonna be a nice leather with this nice texture finish trim here. There's 2 press memory seats. You can also adjust the seat controls here, just like a Mercedes-Benz. You can also mess with the thigh support here. As you guys can see, it is moving if you guys need more support. Nice stitching here, nice leather. This also has the Macintosh sound system. I like the nice speaker cover here, large storage and cup holder space here. But shutting the door here of the Grand Wagoneer, it sounds very solid with this nice aluminum accented door handle there. It is automatic up and down for all 4 windows, which is really nice. Your headlight controls here, your illumination switch, and this does have adjustable pedals. So if you're short like myself, you can bring the pedals towards you. Electronic parking brake. This does have a power tilt and telescoping wheel. Does offer good range and adjustability. Looking here at the steering wheel, this is a 2-spoke wheel design. I like the way that it looks. Over here is for your driver's assistance tech. It says Grand Wagoneer here on the airbag cover. You can customize this display here to show you map display, and it will load very quick. I like the way that it looks. Really good graphics here. You can also customize it to show your fuel economy, what your Apple CarPlay is playing, or Android Auto. It does have adaptive air suspension, like I mentioned. There's the turn signal and automatic high beam switch here. The wind wiper stock is there. The materials on the dashboard can be this nice leather material with this nice stitching here. This also has a heads-up display. Looking at this 12-inch display here, there's off to the side here, there's going to be 3-level heated and cooled seats. You press the cool seats here, or the heated seats if you would like. There's a heated steering wheel function, and the push button kind of sticks out a little bit. I actually like that, and it does have this nice leather in the actual back of it, which is really high quality. There's a volume and tune knob here, which is very small, but you know, you can adjust the volume and stuff if you would like. Looking here at the CarPlay, is very responsive, very snappy, very bright screen here. Like I mentioned, it's a 12-inch display, and down here you also have your massage functions and whatnot. Let me turn it on here. It has a waterfall, lower back, extend, lower extend, and rock climb. So it's different functions. You can do a high intensity, low, or medium if you would like, or you can just turn it off. Me personally, I like the waterfall, especially with the cool seats on. Press this button right here. The screen will turn off, of course, and it will move out of its way to reveal my iPhone 14 Pro Max. It does fit on the wireless phone charger. There's 4 USB ports in there and aux. There's also a 12-volt with an HDMI port for the passenger screen. There's your stability control, hazard button. You can also parallel park this vehicle. There's your parking sensors, tow haul mode. And if I press this here, it will turn the passenger screen on. Like I mentioned, I'll hop over there very soon. Over here is going to be for your drive mode selector. It shows you snow, sand, and mud, rock. Pick it down here, it goes into auto, and there's sport. And it does give a nice little graphic of the Grand Wagoneer here. And it will lower and raise the suspension in the other modes here. If I put it in auto, as you guys can see, it is raising the suspension here, but you can, you know, click it down, you know, to your liking. And it does show you what it's doing once you put it into that different drive mode and whatnot. Over here is for your hill descent control. There's a for low. Putting the vehicle into reverse here, it does reveal a top-down 360 view. I actually like the nice graphics here. Very bright camera, different angles and whatnot. It's also a front-facing camera, and you can also look at the back of the vehicle as well. But kicking over here to drive, to switch it over to the right, and this is a real metal shifter here. To go into neutral, switch it again. To go into park, to switch it back to the left. Looking at the key fob here for the Grand Wagoneer, it has lock, unlock, remote start. You can lower the air suspension, open up the tailgate, and there's a panic button. It says Grand Wagoneer in back of the key fob. The key does feel nice to hold in my hands. 2 cup holders here. Pull this back, it does reveal 2 USB ports. It's lined with felt, which is really nice. More stitching, more leather. Here on the center console, very deep storage well. You can also get a refrigerator as an option, but this does offer very deep storage here in the center console. More of that nice textured trim here around the center console. And to close this display back, just press that button there and it will pop back on the massage. You can also mess with your seating controls, also the front climate controls and whatnot. And you can turn off the screen for the passenger if there's no one sitting there. The seats in here are very supportive and comfortable. It does say Series 1 here on the actual seats, which is really nice. Above me, there's this large panoramic sunroof, and the third passengers also get its own sunroof, which is really nice. Above, there's LED lights, more controls here for SOS, assistance, and controls for the large panoramic sunroof shade and whatnot. And it does says Grand Wagoneer here on the dashboard. But let's get out and walk over to the passenger side so I can show you guys this screen. These running boards are very helpful because I'm very short, and getting into this large SUV it's kind of a challenge sometimes. But as you guys can see, like I mentioned, this does have the 10.25-inch passenger screen, which is an option. If I'm not mistaken, you can also go to reminders here. It does show you different things like your calendars. Today's December 1st, 2022. You can clear all things if you already, did your errands and whatnot. There's an HDMI port, like I mentioned. Swipe over here. You can go to navigation. Let's go to the gas station and see what it does. And now it's using either the onboard Wi-Fi or it's using my hotspot and whatnot. But as you guys see here, very bright screen. There's different things. You can zoom in and out, very responsive. This is the Uconnect 5 system, one of the best infotainment systems in the business. I like how responsive it is. I can go back to home if I would like, and I can also mess with the cameras just in case the driver is not a really good driver and they're not paying attention to their surroundings. As you guys can see, very bright display. I can mess with the front-facing camera. I can look at, at a closer angle. Also the back of the vehicle. But I like the passenger screen here. Is very high resolution, really good tech, so you don't have to basically be messing with the large display here just in case the driver is too focused on the navigation. And the passenger also get heated and cool seats. But overall, I like the nice tech. I like how well laid out this interior is. Getting into the second and third row here of the Grand Wagoneer. Open up the rear door here. Like I mentioned, my model also has these running boards here which pop from underneath the truck. This also has the captain's chairs. You can get a bench seating if you would like. My model also is equipped with this center console area here. Let's look at the door panel materials here. They're the same materials which is carried over from the front. I like the nice aluminum finish here to the door handle. This nice textured trim here. It's going to be nicely padded here on the armrest, and large storage and cup holder space here in the actual door pocket. This does have the Macintosh sound system. I like the nice speaker cover here with this nice design. There's your lock controls here. It is auto up and down, like I mentioned, for all four windows. But getting back here, there's this nice leather stitch grab handle. There's also this air vent here on this pillar. But shutting the door here, there is also two map pockets for storage. You also have your own set of USB charging ports here, more air vents. There's a household outlet with a 12 volt there. The floor back here is flat, but you guys are not going to need that flat floor because it does have the captain's chairs with this center console here. There's a lot of gloss black trim here. This is a 10.25-inch display. It does have 3-level heated seats here. The touch response is very fast and snappy here. You can turn the screen off if you would like or turn it back on. Two cup holders here. Pull this back. It does reveal 2 USB charging ports. It's lined with felt, which feels really nice. Open it up. Very deep center console, just like in the front, so it does offer tons and tons of space. And my model also has this manual sunshade here to block out the haters or the sun. Above me, the passengers also get their view out of this large panoramic sunroof here. The captain's chairs are very supportive and comfortable. I like the way that they look and feel. And you can slide the seat forward and back to give the third row passengers a little bit more space. But keep in mind, this does have best in class second and third row legroom space. Jeep says this has 42.7 inches of rear legroom space, which is super cavernous. But let's get into the third row real quick and take a look at the third row space. But getting out of the Grand Wagoneer here, Jeep makes it very simple to get into the third row. Press this button right here and the seat will tilt forward. Just push it out of its way. As you guys can see, plenty of space to get into the third row. But getting back here, I'm going to shut the door. And this with the seat, not as far as setting, but let me slide it back here so I can show you guys how much legroom space this vehicle has. But getting back here, keep in mind, I'm only 5'8", and look at the space, guys. Super impressive. I can also cross my legs back here on a long road trip, and you can fit 3 people across if you truly need the seating capacity. Back here, there's also your own set of air vents here, a power recline function to the third row seats, 2 more USB charging ports, cup holder, a little bit more storage, very large glass here so you guys can see out of it just in case you get claustrophobic. Above is going to be LED lights for the second and third row. And there's this coat hanger here. And like I mentioned, just like the BMW X7, you also have your own shade here. You can just pull this back if you guys don't want all that sunlight in the actual third row. And the features are carried over from the passenger side here to the driver's side. So you have the recline function, the USB charging ports, also your air vents. And Jeep says this has 36.6 inches of rear legroom space. But overall, the second and third row of the Grand Wagoneer does not disappoint. You can fit taller people back here if you truly want to put them back here in the second and third row. Looking underneath the hood of the Grand Wagoneer Series 1 with 4x4, this is Jeep's corporate 6.4 liter V8. This powertrain makes 471 horsepower and 455 pound-feet of torque. It is paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. As the Grand Wagoneer sits here with the Series 1, this vehicle weighs in around 6,300 pounds. So she ain't light, but she does move very quick with this V8 powertrain here. And this vehicle can tow up to 8,200 pounds. So it does offer some really good towing capacity in this segment here. But making our way over here to the fuel door, let's talk about fuel economy here for the Grand Wagoneer. Open up the fuel door. Jeep said this is rated to get 13 in the city, 18 on the highway, and 15 combined. So I'm behind the wheel of the Grand Wagoneer Series 1 with 4x4. Jeep says this vehicle can tow 8,200 pounds, which is class competitive in this luxury three-row segment here. I recently tested the Cadillac about 2 months ago, so it's kind of still fresh in my memory, and that had the 6.2 liter small block from GM. That vehicle makes 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. This is Jeep's 6.4 liter V8, which makes 471 horsepower and 455 pound-feet of torque. It's paired with an 8-speed auto, so it is down 2 gears. Keep that in mind. But let's come to a stop here and do a slight acceleration run. To put into sport mode here, just click it down once, and it gives you this nice graphic here. I'm just gonna floor it. And that's the speed limit. This thing is quick as hell. This thing is like a scarlet cat. This thing will leap, literally, like if it was gonna jump off its chassis. This thing is just super fast. It's one of the fastest vehicles in the segment, with one of the biggest engine displacement, which is a 6.4 liter displacement here. This vehicle has one of the best ride qualities. I like the Escalade's ride quality, but Jeep just did a better job when it comes to driving this large SUV. And me personally, it doesn't feel like I'm driving a big family hauler here. It feels like I'm driving nothing small, but it doesn't feel large, if that makes sense. And the fuel light just came on. So keep in mind, guys, this is ready to get 13 in the city, 18 on the highway, and 15 combined. So keep in mind, it's not fuel efficient, but if you guys can afford the Grand Wagoneer name, you can afford to put gas in this large vehicle here. This has one of the biggest second and third row spaces in the segment. Like I mentioned, has 42.7 inches of rear legroom space in the second row and 36.6 in the third row. So it does offer plenty of space if you guys are looking to put your family in here. I like the nice tech. You also have this 12-inch display which supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can pair 2 phones at the same time. And it's a very bright, helpful screen here. It runs the Uconnect 5 system, one of the best systems in the business. The visibility out of this vehicle is good. You also have these large side mirrors here with blind spot monitoring. This also has lane keeping assist, forward collision warning, also with adaptive cruise control. So it does a good job. It doesn't have super cruise like in the Escalade, which I tested before as well. That's a really good driver's assistance, hands-free system. Once again, if you guys can afford the Grand Wagoneer, you're not going to really care about fuel economy. But if you guys do care about fuel economy, you have to go for the Escalade, which has that turbo diesel, which that gets phenomenal fuel savings when it comes to filling up your luxury SUV. I still have the vehicle in the sport mode. Let's put it into auto, so it will kind of tailor between sport and the other drive modes. And this does have the air suspension, which rides freaking beautiful. I love how quick it lowers and raises the vehicle. So if you guys have small kids, you can put in its lowest height to get into this vehicle. And to tell you guys the truth, this vehicle is big, but you can, maneuver this vehicle around in very tight spaces and whatnot. It's one of the largest in the segment at 214.7 inches. So it's about a good 4 to 3 inches bigger compared to the Navigator, the BMW X7, the Mercedes-Benz GLS, the Cadillac Escalade. So it does play a really good role here in the luxury segment. Jeep did a really good job. Nice materials, nice screen layout here, good tech. I like the nice heads-up display that my model has. It shows very good and clear information and whatnot. But you just can't deny nothing's gonna beat a V8 sound. And this thing sounds glorious. It sounds freaking good. I'm also getting a massage while I'm talking to you guys. A really good massage here. Also offers 3 level heated and cool seats for the driver and passenger. Right now, I have my glasses on. Even with my glasses off, I can't even see the passenger screen. So that's a nice safety feature from Jeep. They don't want you to be looking over at the passenger screen as you're driving. But if you guys don't want an Escalade, you don't want a BMW X7, you don't want the Lincoln Navigator or the other competitors in this segment, I think the Grand Wagoneer is one of the top options that I would pick, even though it's a very pretty penny. But keep in mind, everything in this segment is well over the six-figure mark. So with this vehicle being the price that it is, it's not expensive. After spending time with the Grand Wagoneer Series 1, I like the ride quality. I love the beautiful laid out interior. I like that it's tech rich. It supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. That powertrain is just buttery smooth, paired with that 8-speed automatic transmission. And I love the interior space. It's just super cavernous compared to the other competitors in this segment. With that being said, hope you guys have enjoyed my review here on the Grand Wagoneer Series 1. Be sure to check me out on Instagram at DriveOnReviews. Hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications, and I will see you all in the next video.